Okay, so welcome everybody. We are in the 7 days of healing. And this week we are talking about working on self-mastery and what that means. So today if you haven't been here before in one of these, I usually don't talk very much, but usually like to work with people, for people, rather than just listening to my voice. So we'll be doing a little of that. And if you're here and you're new, you can say hi in the chat if you'd like. And I thought today that I could work with a couple of people. So if you have something that you're deliberating, or there's an issue that you have that you're kind of stuck on and you don't know which way to go, then I can tune in with your higher self and kind of get some guidance for you, and then help just set up a clearing, an auto clear or quantum clearing for you around that issue. So self-mastery really is our ability to be able to take control of our life instead of having all this programming that we have just kind of loop and just run our lives, and to really start to understand why we do the things we do, because a lot of times they're not even the things that we want to be doing. We're not creating or generating anything that we set out to do. Maybe you have goals in life, or you strive for something that you find it's challenging to achieve, and you're just wondering why it is that you fall back into those old patterns for yourself. So we're working on making choices, not from our trauma or our woundings, but just from a new place that we can step forward into. So that's what we're doing this week with our clearings. And if anyone is having any challenges, please put in the chat. So a question is, why do we keep recreating all these things that we don't want to? So if there's something you're recreating, please let me know. Anyone? And also a deeper level would be why we try to force change, right? And oftentimes when we're forcing change, it doesn't work. So we're really not trusting ourselves, trusting a higher aspect of ourselves that we know what to do. So a lot of this is about not trusting ourselves, not listening to ourselves. Hi, Steph. Okay, so I just asked if you're just coming in right now and you have something that you're struggling with, struggling to manifest in your life, and you'd like some guidance on that, please post in the chat, and I'm going to work on a few people. Okay, so Elizabeth, I see all your symptoms, but what are you trying to achieve? Like the deal with this is, if you just list a bunch of symptoms, like this works really well if you tell me what you want, and because then you're consciously choosing something other than telling me a bunch of symptoms that are really, it's a complaint. Right, symptoms are complaints. I'm not saying you don't have the symptoms, everyone that's writing the symptoms, but what would you like to achieve that you're not able to move forward on? Now that could be, it could be, I'm stuck in depression and I'd like to move beyond that. So that is something that is like proactive in how you word that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Sandra just wrote what we're all working on, just going through some of these. Okay, is that clear for everybody? Hopefully. So even just the way we word things, our words have power, our words carry meaning, they carry frequency. Okay, so Kate. Okay, let's go with this. So Kate is saying that she's overwhelmed and exhausted, but needs to earn money. Okay, so what you're asking is that you want to generate money. Is there a way that you want to make money? So we're going to get really specific here. Do you just want to make money doing anything? Do you want to make money doing a certain thing? Get really specific, and you can unmute yourself, Kate, if you'd like to speak.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I just wrote in the chat again.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
A stable, like a stable business, so I can thrive instead of just survive.
Yeah, so an energy healing business.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just ask and see if I can get some. Okay, so when I do this, I'm just tuning into your higher self, which is the highest version of you that's available right now in this now time. And we can just ask. Okay, so is there anything, we're just going to ask you, is anything blocking Kate from achieving a stable energy healing business? Yeah, so you're actually saying a higher self is saying that you don't really want that. Okay, and we find this a lot, right? There's certain things that we think we want that maybe we don't want. There's certain things that our ego thinks we want, that it's actually not what we want. Okay, so let me just see. So the natural thing for me to ask is, what do you actually want to do? And that's not work. Okay, so we could take that many ways, right? We can ask, is there a reason? Yeah. Okay, so when I ask why you don't want to work, you say because bad things happen when you go to work. Okay, so that could have, let's just ask what that means. Yeah, so you're saying bad experiences in the workplace, bad experiences with people that you've worked with. Okay, so that indicates that that's a trauma that's there's still like some maybe stuck emotions there, stuck trauma there. And Kate, I know you know what that relates to. Okay, so let's, do we need to know any more about this? No. So if this was cleared, would you want to work and have a thriving business of your own? And that's a yes. Okay, so let's, so the way, if you are an energy healer, then especially if you're emotion code, body codes, using those programs, or if you're using any other programs, you're used to clearing one thing at a time. The way I work is more quantumly, so I'm just putting an intention out into the quantum field for us to heal. When I jump like that, that's just like a confirmation. So we're going to do that for Kate right now. So we're just going to set this up, and this usually runs for several hours. So if you're having a session with me, this is how we're going to be working. So I'm not going to be clearing like one thing at a time. So you get way more. So we're getting like 5 regular body code sessions here for Kate. So we're just asking this to dissolve, dismantle for her these, we can call them issues that she's having at work, or that she had at work, that are blocking her from moving forward into her practice. So a lot of the times, and that's activated for her 100%, a lot of times it's really us stopping us from doing what we want. And you can also, if you resonate with this issue, you can also ask a couple the benefits of this clearing for yourself. So you get this, and I can do that also for everyone. And I can make it really broad so everyone gets benefit. For everyone that's here right now, that will be here in the future. We're asking to couple the benefits of this healing that relates to anything to do with work, a previous job, an employee that was not for your highest and best, any trauma around that, any woundings. We're asking those to dissolve, dismantle. And we could do this for relationships in general. Okay, so I'm also reading Carolyn. So get specific right now, Carolyn, about what one thing that you want to move forward on. And write, please, while we're doing this. Okay, if anyone has any questions about how I'm working, if you're a practitioner and you want to know how to do what I'm doing, any questions? Okay, so for Kate, that's activated now for 100% for her. And then we can ask if she's received this healing. 100%, and that's a no. So that just takes time. So she's received it like about 50%, and it'll take about an hour for her to receive this 100%. And it's going to take about 5 hours for you for this healing. So this is going on. I don't have to be doing anything. I don't need to be sitting here. And how I'm able to do that is because I'm completely clear. Like there's nothing, not saying I don't have my stuff, and because I do have my stuff that I have to clear, but my intention is, there's nothing blocking my intention. There's nothing blocking Kate and I, and there's nothing blocking anything that I put out into the quantum field to manifest. So, and that's the way we're able to do this and be really, really effective. Okay, good. So Kathy's asking, can we do quantum healing just with our intention rather than each piece? Do we ask how long the healing takes? Yes. So yes and yes. And then you have to ask for how long it's going to run. So what do you mean, Kathy, by each piece? Like each trauma? Yeah, you could do it.
Well, you know, when you do the body code, how it just keeps taking you down layer and layer and layer and layer.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes I get frustrated because there's so many layers and I'm always looking for a shortcut. So is this kind of a shortcut?
Yeah, absolutely. So we could even ask this, and we can muscle test. Let's muscle test right now for going back to Kate. Okay, so once we've done this for 5 hours, will that specific issue be cleared 100%? And that's a no. So she's going to need like 3 more of these quantum, we can just call that quantum healings. And Kate, I'll do that for you. So just reach out to me after. Okay, so yeah, that's a really good question. Okay, I'm just reading some of these. Okay, so let's do this because this relates to everyone. Allison, not everyone, but some people would like to move beyond a cycle of depression. So this could be anything. We want to move beyond depression. We want to move beyond anxiety. We want to move beyond sadness. So this could be anything that's going on for you today, and really take action to value my body by giving myself higher vibe foods. Okay, so I'm just going to tune into Allison's higher self. So as she's put them together, we're just presuming that I'm seeing that her depression is causing her to not make the choices that she wants, right? When we're depressed, or we have depressive moods or depressive days, we don't want to do the things that we do, that we want to do, how we nurture ourselves. We're not able to do that. Okay, so let me just tune into you, your higher self. So you're actually saying, again, it's so interesting. You're saying that you're causing your own depression. And let me just ask how you're doing that, why you're doing that. And you're saying it's a way to stay. Okay, so interesting. It's a way for you to stay in the environment that you're in. Is that your physical environment? Yeah, so it's your physical environment, and it's also, we have an internal environment, an internal bodily environment. mental environment. So you're basically saying, Alison, that's a way for you to keep the status quo of your life, to keep things in harmony, even though I can see that this is not harmony for you, this is disharmony. So it's a way for you not to be able to move forward, but try and keep things. So it's like an oxymoron, right? You want to keep things stable, but things stable are not good. So you might ask, like we may be asking, why do we do that to ourselves, right? That makes no sense. So let's just ask Alison's higher self. Yeah, so I'm asking you, is there a way to make change? Why do you do that? So you do that because, and you're saying because it's one thing is it's too much effort to make change. Okay, but when we have that belief it's too much effort, that only takes us so far, right? And I know that personally, that may work in the beginning, but after months, after years of doing this, this is what creates disease in our bodies. And this disease is going to start dis-ease. You know, this may start as, like you're saying, depression. But then this can lead to all sorts of physical manifestations and symptoms, autoimmune, because our body is literally attacking itself. And it can lead to, you know, and speaking personally for myself, things like cancer. I have thyroid cancer. So I speak from personal experience around this, that if we don't address these smaller things, not saying depression is smaller, but these depressed thoughts, and we want to like push everything under the rug, that does not serve us in the long run. It may seem like, okay, yeah, it's great because I can just keep going to my day job and then I come home, but then I cook dinner and I focus on other things and I go to bed, but it doesn't serve us in the long run. Okay, so Alison, you're saying you want to break free from this, is what your higher self is saying. And you're saying you have to create change in your life. And to create change in your life, you have to speak up. So, yeah, so do you know what you need to speak up on? And that's a yes. Okay, so you need to speak to, you're saying speak to, there's two men. So two men in your life, Alison. So you're saying one is your father, and is this like face to face? And that's a yes. So you're saying face to face. And obviously, you know, what I'm saying is I'm getting pretty specific about things, but obviously if you don't resonate with this, then that's fine. This is not, you know, gospel. This is my interpretation of things. So just take what resonates with you. And if it doesn't, then just leave that. And I would imagine, Alison, the other person is your husband. Okay, so, and you're telling me you know what to say. Is there anything else specific you would like to ask, Alison, while I have you here?
I know we've been doing this work, but I still, and I'm sure I know what to say and what to do.
Yeah.
But I just I don't seem to have the balls to do it.
There you go. And that's the fear part of it. So part of it is, and I know as energy healers, we would just, and I'm guilty of this too, we just want to do the energetic part and hope that the physical part will take care of itself. But sometimes we do just have to find, you know, we have to be brave and we have to be bold, and we have to take a risk. And it's really taking a risk on ourselves. We are taking a risk for ourselves. And when we trust ourselves to say these things, whatever it is, it could be just a small thing that creates such a huge shift for people. Like, and it quantumly, you know, it's like I see planets move for people when they just take a tiny little step and say no. You know, it could just be saying no instead of saying yes. it creates just huge energetic waves, and so much energy moves. So my advice to you, Allison, is trust yourself. And we do have to move through fear. And just an exercise that to try on for yourself is just for all of us is the idea that we've really done nothing wrong, right? We think we've done so much wrong in our lives. But just if you can sit in your meditations and even right now, if you're able to, and just try that on and see how that fits, that you've done nothing wrong in your life. Yes, we've all made mistakes. Yes, we've made wrong decisions, but really, was any of it wrong? And we have the idea that things are wrong just from our languaging, right? And what society determines and deems as being wrong. So someone else has said what is wrong. And obviously there are things that, you know, again, that we wouldn't have wanted to do, and we would have chosen better if we could do it again. But really, is any of it wrong? I think we blame ourselves so much. So hopefully that will lighten people's, you know, when I do that for myself, it's just, well, no, you know, we're all doing the best we can do, which we really are, day in, day out. You don't wake up saying, okay, I'm really going to mess my life up today, do we? No. So we have to have, it's good if we can have some empathy for ourselves and take baby steps. We don't have to know it all right now. We don't have to figure it out. Okay. Hope that helps, Allison.
Thanks, Kate. Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so okay, Steph. So this is good. So Steph is working with her business partner, Hannah, who I also know. And okay, so this sounds like an intention, the way Steph writes this. This is, I'm consciously choosing a business partnership with Hannah to co-manage the other health accounts for our Solex business and to be equal partners. Okay, so Steph, is this manifested? Yeah? I don't know if you're still here.
I'm here. Hi.
Hi.
I'm doing homeschool with Ellis right now and trying to do this at the same time. So this has not manifested yet. The part that I had a lot of like nervousness and anxiety about yesterday was really just having the discussion with Hannah that we would be equal partners.
Okay.
We haven't discussed that yet.
Yeah.
There is an account that came to her, but it's such a large, I think she had mentioned to you, it's like 2,000 like potential people signing up with us. It's so large that like neither of us could ever do it alone.
Right. Okay.
And
so so rejection comes up, right?
Yes.
So we both know, I'm sure you know that so to begin with, it's our ego that has all this fear, that thinks that you know, Hannah's going to reject you, that she's going to say no, you know. So I think we're more afraid of fear itself than actually what the thing is, right? I think we can all relate to that. This fear creates this whole other paradigm for us when we start going down these rabbit holes of, you know, what could potentially happen, when really the chances of those things happening are pretty small. Wouldn't you agree most of the time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So let me ask your higher self how we can best assist you. Yeah. So you thank fear and rejection. So we're going to set up a quantum clearing for you, Steph, around fear and rejection of, is it approaching Hannah? No, and it's really nothing to do with Hannah and your relationship with Hannah. It's just, where do we have to go? Let's ask what age this all comes from, this stems from. So you're saying age 4, which is so early, right? So we're still carrying all this stuff from these early ages that is influencing Steph right now in her business. So we need to do a clearing from age 4. Yeah, and I'm also going to include your mom in this as too. Okay, so we're asking that this rejection, fear for Steph that she's experiencing. So everything that she's shared with us, everything that I have seen, we don't have to repeat all these words again when you're doing it. And that we're clearing age 4. And so other people come in when I'm doing this. It's really interesting. So Steph's daughter is actually here right now.
She's right next to me.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. She's telling me about when she was, what it was like for her to be 4. I just asked if there's anything she needs doing from age 4, and she said no. Okay, so, and that's been sent, and it has 100% of you received that 100%, and that's a yes. So that's just going to take an hour, and we can ask if you're going to need any more after that, and that's a no. And Hannah's actually here right now, her higher self, and she's just saying, you know, of course I love you unconditionally. And yeah, we've totally got this, and you don't have to worry. And she has the same fears, and it's just going to be so beautiful.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so, and we're also going to couple the benefits for everyone that needs, even if you don't think you need something like this, you might, around rejection. And we all need the fear. We all have lots of fear blocks. Okay. Let me just see. Okay, so is this Lisa? I would like to manifest an income stream and not be dependent financially. Okay. Are you here? I think this is Lisa P. Okay, so
I'm here.
hi. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I've heard so much of great things about you from Penny.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, so what kind of work do you do? Do you do energy work?
I do. I'm a body code practitioner, and I'm a guitar instructor. I do both.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So you play electric guitar?
I do.
I love electric guitar.
Do you?
Yeah.
A woman after my own heart.
I mean, I don't play, but I like listening. Okay, so let us so you have a great spirit though, Lisa, which is really awesome to tune in.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah. Oh, you're so sweet. Okay. So I'm just really enjoying this because I've not tuned into with Lisa before, so this is completely new. So I'm just like getting to know her energy, which takes a little while. So whereas Steph and Kate, I'm familiar with. So one moment, please. Your highest self. Okay, so you're saying that you don't have enough love in your life. So let me just ask, is that so self-love? So all love really starts with ourselves. If we're lacking, if we're feeling we're not being loved, or we're not being nurtured, or we're not being nourished in our life, it really stems from self-love. So I'm going to ask your higher self, do you really know how to love yourself? And that's a no. Okay, let me just ask. Okay, are there things that that you know that you need, that you're not doing, and that's a no. So you're saying that you really need to break into new areas and new avenues and new channels for self-love and for nourishment. And is this an area that you could work in with people? And that's a yes. Okay, so that ties into that. Yes. 1 second. Okay, so you should be offering this for people. Okay, so what is your challenge?
My challenge is I always feel like I don't have enough training.
Yeah, so that's a trap, you know that, right? That's a massive trap for everyone.
Yeah, that's a big one for me.
I just need this other certification, or I just need this one thing and then I'll be amazing.
Right, or I need to be as good as her, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's a big one.
media is a killer too. You're looking at people on social media, looking at me, oh, this is what I need to be like. That is total, it's rubbish.
I know, and I've done a lot of work around that, and what came up was that I was afraid to step into my power.
Yeah.
And then it said, well, why was I afraid to step into my power? And it said, because I feel like I will be a false god.
Okay, so let's ask if you may have, do you have any false gods around you? And you do. Okay, so a false god is it could be entity related, is it? Yeah.
Oh, because I thought it was an inner child thing.
It could be, but the bigger okay, so you have so much coming in. So you have a disembodied spirit around you. Is this someone you know? No. Okay, and this has been around you since childhood. Okay, so we're going to clear this. Let's just do a quick general entity clearing for people. We'll do this for you right now. Okay, and is this giving you false advice? Yeah. Okay, and is this stopping you loving yourself, feeding off your energy? And it's been there since you were 3. Okay, so my feeling is this is somebody that you knew, you've known in this lifetime, in a previous life. Yeah. Okay, 1 second. Let me just take care of this for you. So I just use the release phrases from the EER app. Okay, so that's gone. So we can ask your higher self, do you have a false god now? And that's a no. False idols, no. Okay, so does this relate to your inner child needs work? And you're saying yes. And that is stopping you from loving yourself. Yeah, so you're saying that you believe that you're not worthy, that you're not complete. Okay, so for all of us, we're not going to find this in another certification. Our ego is not, we're just not, right? So you are good enough. All of us are good enough just the way we are. And just to sit with that is really huge. Like there's nothing that you need to do to be better. Nothing, absolutely not. You are perfection sitting there right now. And just take a deep breath and breathe that in. All of us just are struggling with this. And then once we realize this, and then we can ask, well, where do we go from this? No, where do we go? Knowing that, what ways can we love ourselves? Okay, so there is an issue with self-love and with not being worthy. You're saying that you weren't held enough as a child, so that brings in the inner child. Do you know if you were breastfed, Lisa?
I was breastfed, but I think what happened was when I was first born, they put me in a basket away from my mother, and I think they kind of forgot about me because I scratched my face up.
Yeah.
Till it bled, and I think I was frustrated or trying to get attention or something.
Right. So has Lisa healed this trauma? And that's a no. Okay, can we do an inner child healing, quantum healing for Lisa right now? That's a yes. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. It's so lovely to see you. Spirit. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we're setting this in motion for everyone else for an inner child clearing and to work on being unworthy, feeling unworthy, all the reasons that we feel this. You know, the human experience is pretty shitty, right? I'm going to say that. And we know that, right? And, you know, there's a certain element of that's not going to change. Being human is just, it is. We have to deal with the ego and it's not great. So we need to find some humor in that as well, right? And just be like, look, this is going to be crap. It's going to be crap today. It's going to be crappy tomorrow. But who am I going to be regardless of that, right? How am I going to step into what I want, knowing that I could be fearful a lot, you know? I mean, I still get fearful of things like, you know, speaking. Like I'm not really, if you don't know me, I'm shy, you know? If I had to choose to do this or not do this, I wouldn't come on here and do this. This is, you know, but I do this because I know it's beneficial and it helps you guys. And so I choose to work through that. And there's a certain level that gets easier, and there's a certain level that it really doesn't. You know, I like to be by myself, and so
I hear you. I'm the same way. I'm very shy.
Yeah, so there's an element that we have to step through our fear. And I know this is a safe space for me, and you know, we do it anyways, and we take baby steps. Like, we know the end result, right? But what can we do each day, like a tiny little step? That's all it takes. And by the end of a week, we're like, wow, okay, I can actually see myself getting somewhere. In the end of a month, the end of 6 months, we're actually making progress. But I think what I've seen from our communities is the worst thing to do is just sit there and do energy healing. Like, you got to live your life. It's so key. You got to get out there and do the things that you love to do. You got to force yourself. And it might be forcing yourself to try something that you've always wanted to do. Go live your life. Okay.
Well, I've been playing with the idea of doing a guitar teaching channel.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Or at least putting myself on the Body Code website. But the fear I have around Body Code is
tell me.
You know, he's the only healing modality that I know of that starts off with physical symptoms. And you talk about physical symptoms, and I have this fear that at some point they're going to start coming down on us, you know.
Like governmental bodies kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Very, very fearful of that. And I know he has this thing that you can join, but I've already done it for so long without having, you know, that piece of paper that I'm, you know, if they want it, you know, they record everything now. So
yeah, well, make sure you have energy healers insurance. That's really important.
Yeah, I don't have that. And
yeah, I can send who I have to, I will post the link if you're in the US. It's really important. It's also really cheap. It's very, very cheap.
Okay.
And Kate, I'm sure you in the UK, there's ways you can get that. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And I understand what you're saying. So maybe, I mean, it all comes back to emotions, right? Everything comes back to stress. Work on stress with people, work on clearing emotions.
Yeah, it's just that I have this passion for helping people with physical ailments.
Yeah.
You know, because I've been through so much in my life with that and have a lot of empathy, I guess, around
Okay.
struggling with that.
Yeah, so I think that's an ego thing as well. Like you're not looking for blocks, but your ego is kind of looking for blocks.
Oh,
Reasons
okay.
not to put yourself out there. And thank you, Alison. Alison posted for UK people. Yeah, and Kate has that fear too. Okay, so let's just do a clearing around this. So we're going to set this up. So is there, let's just ask, is there a deeper meaning why people would have this? Yeah, so you're afraid of authority. So the general thing is fear of authority.
Okay.
Yeah, does that resonate, Kate, also? Yeah. Okay, that we're kind of governed by authority. So let's just set that up to do a clearing around this to pull out. So you really want to ask to pull your energy back from all authority figures, governments, whatever. It could be jobs, if you've ever worked for the government, in any capacity. So you just ask right now for all your energy to come back from those places that you've given your energy to or that have been taken. Because oftentimes institutions, they take our energy. We give our energy when we sign up, when we say, oh yeah, I'm going to follow these rules. We are giving our energy to them. So you just want to ask to pull that back from all the places that you know, all the places that you don't know, that you've forgotten. Anywhere as children, pull the energy back from your parents, because they're the first people that take our energy or that we give our energy to, because we're looking to them for guidance. Okay. Okay, that's activated. So let's look at one. So Casey, this is just staring me in the face. So I'm going to look at this for you. So Casey says challenge is, so thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure. Okay, Casey, sorry. Let me just clear my field. That's my ego. It's like jumping there. So I need to just clear my energy field right now. Okay, Casey, are you here? Challenge is realizing her physical symptoms of just anxiety and learning how to calm herself during panic attacks. Okay, so the first thing is your higher self here to the panic attacks. So let's ask why you're having anxiety and having panic attacks. So your light score is really low. Okay, so I'm just going to do an entity clearing for you. 1 second. Yeah, so are you married, Casey?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, you don't need to divulge, but I'm not, you know, obviously you can divulge as much as you want or not as much as you want, but so I'm hearing something about, you're telling me something about your marriage.
Yeah.
Or some situation in your marriage or your marriage as a whole is not for your highest and best, and that is causing your contributing, like you're saying, around 60%. We're going to get specific for anxiety. Okay, so let me just ask your higher self. So you're saying that you're putting yourself in situations that you should pull out of. And is there a reason you're not doing that? You have children?
Yes, I have 3.
Yeah, so you're saying a reason that you're not is because it relates to your children. Is there another, you're afraid, you're scared of what will happen? You're saying financial. Is a reason that you're not. Okay, so this is the first time. Casey, we don't know each other, do we?
I had a session with you last week for the first time.
Ah, okay. Let me just tune into your energy. Okay, so
And it was probably, I think when I put it in there, it was under Cassandra though. That's,
okay.
I go by Casey. Yeah, I go by Casey though.
Alright. Okay, that helps. Okay, so I'm gonna do and bring your light score up between you and your husband. So this just raises the vibration between you and him. Okay, so I'm setting up. Okay. And anything else we need to do? So your higher self. Yeah, so you're saying that you put yourself in situations that you know are going to cause you either emotional harm, mental harm. So obviously the logical thing is stop doing that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask your higher self. So are there things that you could do to stop doing those kind of things? Yeah, so you're saying you invest too much energy in certain things. Is that in your husband? Yeah, so you try and caretake. You're a people pleaser. So this is something that you can do that no one's going to know, right? Initially. Eventually there'll have to be a physical, changing you. But first of all, let's do this energetically. So, and you can sit and do this yourself. So you want to pull your energy back. So when you people please, you just put all your energy out there onto people. So let's ask for Casey, all her energy to come back to her, and anyone else that this relates to, you can ask to do this. So we're pulling all your energy back 100% from your husband, and let's do this for your children also. Where we just give too much, right? And we feel like in the beginning, or maybe even now, that that's a great thing to do and that we're really helping. And, you know, I do this too. It's difficult, right? Especially with our kids. So we're pulling all our energy back, because really until we have all our energy in our body, what's our energy? And also let's give all your energy that's not yours back. So give it back to your husband, give it back to your children. So you can actually feel what it's like to be you. When you have everyone else's energy in your body, it's not even 100% you. It's like, we know the personalities of our kids and our husbands, Casey, so of our husbands. So it's particularly, you've got his personality and your children's personality in your bodies, in your body. So also you can say the sovereignty statement and pull your energy back. That's written in the each week in the 7 days of healing. And when you say that, you want to say it forcefully, like you actually mean it, right? Because it's very powerful. The words have power, words have meaning. Okay, so it would be good if you, Casey, just were, okay, so this is where the self-mastery can come in, to be conscious and to be aware, self-aware of where you people please. Okay, so you can either do that mentally in your head, you can write that down, get really, really specific. And if this applies to other people, you know, I do X, Y, and Z when my kids get up in the morning. I know this is way too much because they're 16 or whatever it is. So tomorrow I'm going to choose to well, to begin with, you want to make sure that they can be successful. Otherwise, you'll feel like a failure, right? Yeah. So you want to communicate whatever it is that you're not going to be doing, and make it like a tiny little thing, right? Maybe they have to, you know, walk into the next room to get their clothes for school or whatever it is, you know, or maybe they have to like go to their drawer to get their clothes, like, or maybe they have to, you know, put a piece of toast in for themselves, right? But as long as they know how to make toast, you know, so you kind of scaffold it so they're successful, so you don't feel so bad when, you're not doing it. And then just gradually pull your energy back from those things. So if it's easier to do it with your husband or easier to do it with your children, you know, you get to choose. So you're in control in this case. You get to choose what child, and if it's your husband, and just baby steps and pull your energy back and just sit and feel what that feels like. Now that may feel really crappy for you. It might feel completely empowering.
See, and this is, I guess this is where I struggle with it, because
Yeah.
I have a very severe fear of death, and I always feel like these physical
Yeah,
symptoms are a
okay.
sign that something's wrong. So that's why I do everything for my husband and kids, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, if something were to happen to me, they would
Yeah,
remember,
that's
oh,
your-
like, look at all the stuff mom did for me. She was so great, and all this stuff. And like, I'm trying not to cry saying it, but like, my
Yeah,
fear of death is getting in the way of being myself.
yeah, because it's yeah, you said that it's your fear of death, and what you're doing though is you're putting that on them, which if we look at this just plainly without any emotion, that's really not fair for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Sandra, okay, so I have a great fear exercise. Sandra, if you can post that when you post the video, that would be awesome. And it's basically an exercise where you just sit and say what you're afraid of. So you would be saying, Casey, I am my fear of death. I am my fear of death. And you keep saying this. So it could be, I am my fear of, if you're afraid of going outside. I am my fear of going outside. And you keep saying this until it emotes some emotion. So like what's happening with you right now, Casey. So when you're emotional, when you cry, and you actually can feel that viscerally in your body, it's releasing. Okay, so Sandra will post that, and it's really, really specific, really clear. And that will help too. So just baby steps. Okay, so we're also going to initiate a clearing for you, Casey, right now, and everything that you have brought up, everything that's up right now emotionally for you. And for everyone. And we're actually going to include this for me too, because I do that with my kids to a certain extent. So a lot of times when we're vulnerable and when we say what's going on, a lot of times things are not going to come up unconsciously for us to clear if we're energy healers until we bring it into our conscious minds, until we say it, like what Casey's doing right now, and she's having a visceral response, or till we write in the chat like you guys have all done. So an hour ago, if you tried to clear around this, you might have got that nothing's there. But it's because it wasn't, because your ego and your conscious mind is like buried it. But now even this, just from what Casey's bringing up, we're all feeling this, right? I can feel it. So this is beautiful, Casey. So thank you. So you've allowed a lot of healing for yourself and also for all of us, especially all of us as mothers. Yeah, because we're all doing this, right? We all, our kids, we all, you know, for me personally, just sharing I don't want my kids to feel pain, because my kids have been in pain and in the past, right? So it's a natural thing. How can you stop your kids from feeling pain? But then it goes too far, because, you know, it goes into, well, it goes from not being in pain to just having them not having to do anything, or having them always not have to struggle, you know, and them getting their out of the drawer is not struggling, right? Really.
Yeah, and they do it. I mean, I've been getting better, and I know why I do this. Like, this all started after my grandma died 7 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
And
well,
she was the same way. She always gave and gave and gave, and I just looked at that, and like, I really still struggle with her death sometimes, and I think that's where the fear of death comes in, is in,
okay.
you know. And then I got COVID a year and a half ago, and it manifested even further after that, because I got so sick that I did have a fear of dying from COVID. And like, I've been struggling for the last year and a half to figure out how to get out of this fear cycle. And that's what led me to you.
Yeah. So that the fear exercise is going to be really great. And also your grandma did not cross over. She's still on the earth plane. She's still here. Okay, so which is not the best for her. So how long ago did she die, Pastor?
What year? 6 years ago.
Okay, so this is not uncommon, but what has happened, Casey, is that you are keeping her here. So were you really, really close to her? Yeah. So
and I do know, like, I saw a psychic like a couple months ago, and she said the same thing, that my grandma was there kind of with her and said basically that she's worried for me, like she wants to help me.
So what is happening is that if someone has passed and we're really close to them and we are thinking about them all the time, our energy, I don't want to say traps, but it stops them crossing over. Because it's like a force field. You're generating such force with your emotions that they can't cross. So either now or later, if you want to contact me, let's find a way that we could to have her be free. And then she can come back though. But right now she's trapped.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, so message me this afternoon and then we'll figure that out.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, everybody. So let me just disconnect from you, Casey. Okay. So we're just gonna do anyone else, if anyone needs anything, we're just having that. I'm just allowing that to dissolve, dismantle if anything's come up. Just clearing this for people. Okay, this was beautiful. Thank you, guys. And Sandra will post this video this afternoon. And if you have any more questions, please post under the video. And also she'll post the fear exercise if you have any questions about that, but it's really self-explanatory. Awesome. Thank you so much for being vulnerable, Casey and everybody. Really appreciate it. And I will see you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye.